Although street smart and well educated on the pitfalls of Chicago living, Genesis still could not escape the negative pull of the city.
Shootings in Chicago have set grim records this summer. According to police, even though homicides are down, shootings are up more than 6%. This week, 15 people were shot in a single night.
I remember I was coming home one day from school, right? And I was walking, the regular path to the crib, and there was three guys behind me. And the three guys behind me, they were whispering. I could hear them. And the whispering, as I got closer to the crib, the whispering turned from whispering to talking. The talking turned from talking to screaming. The screaming was directed at me. And I'm thinking to myself, like, what's really going on here? Like, cause at that point I wasn't gangbanging. So I'm thinking to myself, what's really going on here? Like, did I talk about me? Cause I ain't doing nothing. I ain't in the gangbang at the point. I was in grammar school. So we get almost close to my house, and the guys jump me, beat me down. That was like, other than what my mom was doing to me, that was like one of the worst whippings I ever had in my life. And all they kept saying was, I hate that hook, I hate that hook. Hook being a word that they used to use for opposite gangs, the folks used to use for opposite gangs, such as the Peoples and stuff like that. So they was identifying me with one of the People's Nations. And at that point, I wasn't a gangbanger at that point. So it was like, when they beat me, I was just confused. Like, man, what was really good? Like, of course, I was knowledgeable about everything that was going on in the neighborhood, what have you. But I mean, I wasn't that knowledgeable to the point where it deserved the kicking.
Determined not to be taken under by the criminal forces of his neighborhood, the Prince retreated to the comfort of what would calm his nerves best, the sound of music.
I mean, I've always been in a musical type of family, man. We just love music. You know what I'm saying? On Saturdays, my grandma used to have this ritual where she would put on old movies, and old music and whatnot. She would have her favorites that she would listen to, like the Isleys, Smokey Robinson, Gladys Knight, The Temptations, Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye was one of her favorites. And then, of course, my mom, she had hers when she would listen to Luther Vandross, Patti LaBelle, the DeBarges, anything from Michael and Janet Jackson, anything from them. And, of course, Prince, you know what I'm saying? But then we was in the 80s, right? So we started really listening to a lot of eclectic stuff like Phil Collins and Tears for Fears, Hall & Oates, and the Eurythmics, man. You know what I'm saying? Eurythmics was one of my favorite groups, Man, I even like Yanni. You know what I'm saying? I'm everywhere. I'm global with mine, man. I don't like to just stay on one genre of music. I'm global with mine.
Party people, party people.
There was all types of hip-hop that I was listening to when hip-hop first came out. Like, as far as the rap is concerned, I used to listen to Rakim and Eric B. And then I used to listen to EPMD. I had the Unfinished Business album. You know what I mean? LL Cool J, definitely. You know what I'm talking about? But then the gangster movement came in during the times of my more rougher years with, as far as the gang situation is concerned, and me being affiliated and being in the street. So, I used to listen to stuff that more fit that. And the West Coast came in and definitely gave me the soundtrack to my life on that. You had NWA and Eazy-E. Of course, you had CMW, Compton's Most Wanted, MC8, still one of my favorite MCs and favorite groups. DJ Quick, definitely, you know what I'm saying? I was even listening to Kid and Play. Like, a lot of people know, Kid and Play was hot back then, man. I didn't have the big high top joint, but, Kid and Play was hot, man. They had some really hype. I had their Too Hype album. It was raw, man. I was really into that. Like, I was into all of the music, man, of the hip-hop, you know what I'm saying? And they really had an effect on me to the point where it was something that I felt I wanted to be a part of. I didn't know at that point what I wanted to do, but I wanted to be a part of it some way because it spoke to me. And it spoke to what I was feeling and what everybody was feeling as far as the youth was concerned at that time. You know what I mean? So breakdancing thing, the b-boying and all that, graffiti writing, that was in Chicago. Like, we was wearing backpacks and stuff like that. Like, when New York was doing this thing, we were a little late behind them. But we used to do the same thing, man. You know, I used to be out there breaking, getting it in and stuff like that. But there was also another movement in Chicago that was going on at the same time. And that was juking, you know, house music. House music has always been a real staple of Chicago, man. You know, Frankie Knuckles, Jumpin' Julian Perez, Fast Eddie, like, you name it, house was our thing. It was way before everything else was jumping out. If Europe was doing it, Chicago was doing it big too, but it just never really spread out. It was really a home-based thing. This is something we was proud of. And dancing was the thing. You know, if you was a dancer, then, you know, you was popular. If you was a dancer, you got all the girls, because women used to equate that with, if you could dance good, then you could screw good. You know what I'm talking about? So, you know, if you wasn't dancing, if you was that dude on the party holding up the wall, they wasn't messing with you. Why? Because they thought you was some type of raper man. You look too mean, you know? If you was out there dancing and doing your thing, then you was sexy to them. You was a party mover to them. You know what I'm saying? So, of course, I danced because I like women. You know what I'm saying? To have little crews and stuff like that. You had U5U, House-O-Matic, and, you know, we would go at it and have these little dance competitions and what have you. But you know, even the gang members, that was the one way out of the streets for us. You know, when that one day or that 1 week or that one weekend where we can enjoy going to dance and stuff like that, then that, to us, that was better than being out on the block shooting at people, selling drugs, smoking and whatnot. You know, I mean, we did that afterwards, but just for that one day, we wasn't, that 1 hour, that one day or that one event, we wasn't out in the streets because of that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, after seeing Kris Kross, man, I knew I wanted to be a rapper. I just knew I wanted to be a rapper.
How high, real high, 'cause I'm just so fly, a young, lovable, huggable type of guy. And everything is to the back with a little slack, 'cause inside out is wiggin' and wiggin' and wiggin' and whack.
I just knew I wanted to be a rapper after I seen Kris Kross. And I just knew. I used to do the little dancing and stuff like that. And my mom, she had one time took us to this nightclub, and it was an adult nightclub, but it was during the day because they had the Jackson 5 imitators, right? So, you know, there was these guys and whatnot in there doing a little imitation of Michael Jackson. And one dude looked just like Mike with the tight jeans and the glove and the socks and the curl. He really got it in. I really thought it was Mike at first, you know. You know, I got it after they performed and whatnot. They was holding this competition of people that could break dance. You know, the older guys and the younger guys, it didn't matter. You know, there was $100 to the winner plus a trophy. So, being in my mom's, you know, she, opportunist that she is, she put me out there, man. And I had this one little move that I would do. I'd do some little footwork and whatnot, and then I would twist my body around 360 while I'm on the ground footworking. It's hard for me to say it. You have to actually see it. I can't do it anymore, but obviously it was hot back then, and it actually won me that, you know. And that was my first time ever being involved in something musically that I really liked, as far as the hip hop movement.